there's more regulation than ever nowadays, especially, I mean, with the recent sports scandals in the United States, professional
Steroids.
sports. Yeah, steroids and enhancement, and it seems government is just fighting back against a societal trend here to increase regulation. The FDA, it just seems as though it's out of step with what people want. And do you see that as well? And what's generating this conflict? How come we're not seeing more movement, more, say, government money or funding for anti-aging research?
Okay, well, first of all, look at the difficulties that we've had just with stem cell research.
I know.
Exactly. People want diseases cured. They want to find remedies for these problems. But it's very easy to twist what's going on, what the intent is, and how the intent is perceived, shall we say, out among the ordinary voter. Okay, most people know nothing about this. Nothing. We're a mere blip, if anything,
really?
on the political radar screen.
I would think we're starting to get above the blip stage. I would.
Well, not much. You'd be surprised.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, we're getting there. I mean, it's a little bit like a turtle swimming through peanut butter.
That is slow.
If I can use that analogy. It's slow, arduous process. That's why, of course, why we're trying to build local groups, because me talking to people, for example, out in Colorado is not as meaningful as, say, 5 members of in someone's congressional district talking to that congressman about life extension. I mean, going back to politics is about people and money.
Yeah.
And we need to organize people who are willing to just talk to their congressman back in their district. Hey, this is an issue that's coming up. This is an issue that could be important. Those things matter. I mean, I know myself, having been in elected office, 5 people calling me on an issue, all of a sudden it's a revolution.
Okay.
And I know I had to do something about this.
Okay, so and that has been a question that has been brought up in the chat so far is, Shannon, thanks for asking about Immortality Institute members. What can they do to show their support for anti-aging research and legislation? And you just mentioned one there is calling your local congressman, because you're saying it doesn't take many phone calls to bring it on the radar.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. Not at all. If you have 5 people, I guarantee you, if you have 5 people in a congressional district, hypothetically, and they call their congressman and want to know anything, what is anything going on with life extension, all of a sudden they're going to wonder, what is this? I mean, the people out there do not want to lose their job. Take my word on that. They fought too hard and too long to get it, and they're not going to give it away. But sometimes they may want some information about it. And like I say, we did distribute the book, but there's other information that certainly is available, and it's very helpful, especially if we're an organized group in the district, and that's what we've been trying to do. Organized district to district. Obviously, it takes a little while. It's not. People aren't necessarily political animals. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And
do you have a Congress contact listing at the CEL website?
I don't have that on. No, I don't.
Okay.
I can get that for anybody that would want it.
Okay, because that's
anybody that wants any information. That's one of the reasons that we're here. We answer our emails. We get stuff out very, very quickly. And this is the way to effectively build a national organization. Any big issue in this country, you can see that's what it takes. I mean, let's go to stem cells. I mean, obviously, a lot of those people in their districts are getting a lot of letters saying, "Hey, we don't want any of this. We don't want killing embryos."
They must. Right.
Put it. And as a result, they're voting on it, and they're voting against us.
Except in California. In California,
they
have a $3 billion.
I mean, that gets into state versus local. I mean, it hasn't passed on a federal level, but states are allowed to do it. So Arnold Schwarzenegger out there,
$3 billion, isn't it? They have an initiative. It's like $3 billion or something like that.
Yeah, it's like it's a lot. I know it's a lot. And that's good. And that can be done in other states too. I'm sure that could be done in New York. I'm sure it can be done. I think Massachusetts has already done it. Maryland has a bill up right now in the legislature, which just passed the other day, doing essentially the same thing. Yeah, I mean you're starting to get into your red state, blue state dichotomy.
Oh, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I hate to say that, but it is.
I know.
But
I know.
State,
I understand.
yeah, they're going to fund it first. But we ultimately are going to need a national effort, and this country, has done things in the past. We embrace big plans. I mean, obviously in World War II there was the Manhattan Project.
Oh yeah.
Later there was the trip to the moon. Who would thought we would have gone to the moon? Now there was the Strategic Defense Initiative, and Star Wars under Reagan.
Yeah.
And then just recently, in the last in the last election, Republican platform called for the trip to Mars.
Trip to Mars.
So I mean, we are capable of dreaming, and I think that's what makes this country great.
Oh
that
yeah.
We do dream. And I think indefinite life extension trips. Goes far beyond the trip to Mars or to the moon or anything like that. But I think we can do it, and I'm the eternal optimist, believe me.
Yeah, I'm optimistic as well. Someone else in the chat also wanted to know, what type of resources are you aiming for? You mentioned that you might be taking up some part-time law work again to help fund a few things. And what type of resources do you think the Coalition to Extend Life needs
Oh, sure.
in order to sway Congress a bit more?
Let me go back to what I originally said, and that is that there are two things that are absolutely vital in Congress. One is people, and the other is money. We're never going to have enough money to be able to put in significant amounts of money into campaigns. But there are lots of things that we're doing. I mean, for example, I have a professional crew. We wanted to put together, and we're still talking about this, a short movie, a YouTube type movie that will show the reality of death, the inevitable decay of the human corpse.
Hey, that's
great. From the time it dies until the time it becomes an ecosystem for maggots.
Hey, let me know when you have that available, because we run documentaries here on the Ustream channel while we're not having live programming. So, hey, keep me up to date on that.
Right. I mean, I certainly will. I mean, I think the analogy here, quite frankly, is going back to about 1972 when Roe v. Wade and the abortion issue came down. The reason, quite frankly, that the anti-choice people succeeded was the ability to graphically show what they say was an aborted fetus. Mm. Okay, I mean, it is a little bit of shock theater, and people can condemn it, but it sure as heck worked, I'll tell you that. And the same thing now that, I mean, after someone dies and you go to the funeral and the casket is put under 6 feet, there are chemical, as you know, and biological changes that essentially changes that person who was once alive and walking around, and all of a sudden he does become an ecosystem for various and sundry bugs and things like that. So we want to do that. I have a professional crew that have done actually mainstream television, and I have a professional distribution company. The problem is we need to raise money for it, and that's one of the reasons I went to go back to law. I mean, we need about $10,000 on that.
Yeah, I got it.
Which isn't an outrageous sum of money for what the impact that it can have.
Right. Now, I've got a couple other questions here that the audience members have brought up. One here, and is there? Could you help us out here in the life extension advocates identify which politicians are the ones who are more favorable toward life extension and ones that are not, which ones need, let's say, some help, some work to bring them along? And also, could the Coalition to Extend Life, something that might be valuable is to give people alerts. Do you think that would be a valuable alerts to when legislation is coming up that might be detrimental or beneficial toward life extension? Those are a couple of things. Is that something that CEL could provide?
Sure, that is definitely something that we can have.